Okay, so I have talked about Stuck on Christmas. Now I'm going to talk about a very goofy Christmas, which is part two of the three-part made-for-TV special, which is called Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. This one, if you've seen the Goof Troop show from a long time ago or see it in Toon Disney, it follows pretty much the same formula as that. It's a modern day Disney show, and it pretty much follows the same formula of the original TV show, which is Goof Troop. In this situation, it's more focused on the relationship between the father and son, as well as how they handle daily situations in their lives. In this case, Goofy is writing a letter to Santa Claus. He is, and Max is trying to rush him out to get that mail to the mailbox, only to find out that the mailman has already left in his mail truck, which leads to a typical chase scene, which leads Goofy in the mall, and Goofy getting into all kinds of shenanigans in the mall while Max chased down the mail truck. They eventually catch up, get the mail truck, and then the film, at least this special, goes into a whole new scenario all by itself. And that scenario is pretty much the typical story of, is there really a Santa Claus? And what happened is Pete, who their next door neighbor, had put ideas in Max's head that say that Santa Claus did not exist. Max began to question whether or not Santa Claus do exist. He even bring questions to his dad, which pretty much further his questions. But then the story also brings up other issues that pretty much almost drowned what was going on, and that was the fact that Max had noticed that his father, which is Goofy, invited some neighbors over. They had a good Christmas together, and the family was together with friends. And this scene is very good because this family is pretty much going through some hard times, especially with employment. And Goofy, knowing that their neighbor's going through a lot, invites them over to celebrate Christmas with them. It is a very, very well done scene. I actually like that they added that situation. And this is one of the things about the Goof Troop series that I actually enjoyed a lot. That doesn't really give enough credit to sometimes. From time to time, they do have those episodes that really do touch on real issues. And in this case, it does touch on a real scenario where some people do know their own neighbors going through some troubles and invite them over. I know my uncle have done the same for me when I was going through some hard times in my own life. Still do in many ways. So seeing that scene, it did bring up some very warm memories about family gatherings and everything else. Of course, we still have the story with Max having doubts, and it came more in the forefront when when the Goofy donned the Santa Claus uniform, and only to get caught. Now to prove, now Max is disappointed, Max is angry, but to prove that there was a Santa Claus, Goofy actually goes on watch, and he goes on watch in the break up coldness. I'm trying to prove that it's Santa Claus. It's a very, very admiring thing he's doing, but eventually he starts to give up and he starts to cast doubt on himself. He's actually down, and something that I really didn't expect. Max comes to his rescue. Max says, "I'm trying to cheer him up," and Max actually dons the Santa Claus uniform. He actually climbed the chimney. When Goofy asked why she's so small, he basically said, "Well, the cameras makes me a lot bigger than what it was." I find it very clever. He climbs back up with Goofy following him because he wants Santa Claus to meet his son, only to have him almost falling off the roof. Of course, Goofy saves them, finds out that it was his son the whole time, and you get one of those warm moments of what his son wanted to do. Of course, Santa Claus came at the last minute, gave him a sleigh, but it really wasn't really about the sleigh that happened. In the end, Max have asked him, "What did you ask for Christmas?" And and Goofy responds, "I always get what I wanted every year, and that is my son happiness." And that is a very a surprisingly well written piece in this whole entire scene, where even Max said, you know what, I was thinking the same way, and they actually embrace. Of course, you have Pete coming out and said, "I believe you the whole time," and of course, Santa Claus said, "Yeah, you're right, but here's some snow for your trouble." And it was kind of like, say, "You never believe me." And you hear the ho ho ho, and Max is, basically shouting, "I'm like, oh, you heard me, where's my stuff?" And it pretty much ended well with Max sharing his toy with their neighbors, and I really liked this. This was an actually surprisingly good one. I didn't know what to think about this particular part of this segment. I did not know what I would feel. At the one hand, I didn't really much care for the typical goofy shenanigans that they did in the beginning. I think the younger audience will like this more than probably than I did. That's just me. I think kids will like it more. They actually have a chuckle. I really didn't care for it. I was actually glad they got the people who did the original voice. I don't know who did Max's voice. I seriously doubt it. But if it is the same person who did it during the Goof Troop TV series, because you gotta remember, as the TV show evolved, so did these characters. In the two movies, he really evolved right up to his college years. But in this one, he's actually in his youth. It's probably one of the reasons why you don't see Pete's wife or Max's best friend in this. It just basically focused on those three characters. But once the true half came in, once the second half came in to that third part, I was really into this because there's a lot of great themes in here. You pretty much know what's going on, and most importantly, is a father and son theme going on that I really do enjoy. Say what you want about Goofy, I really consider him my favorite character. He may be clumsy, he may be he may have get himself into outlandish trouble, but there's no doubt that there is a very strong connection between him and Max, a fatherly love connection that I always did admire about Goofy, and I think nobody really gives him enough credit for. He's probably one of the underrated characters in this series. Even when his movies, where people just basically wanted to trash on it, I thought the movie was fine. I thought the Goofy movie, and even the Extremely Goofy movie, was actually surprisingly well done movies, especially for what they were trying to go on. Again, the modernization of this show, you either don't like it or not. It all depends on what kind of Disney animation you're actually looking for. Again, this is probably the most modernized Disney characters you're ever going to see in any kind of medium. At least in where I was growing up, they always kept that modern, but it's actually cool that way. I actually think I think they will connect more with today's audience than they would with those who are used to seeing stuff in the 1950s and 60s and 70s. But in all, this was a fun special. I actually liked this special. The only complaint I had was the first act, but once it got going, or once you pretty much know what theme they're going for, it definitely worked for this special. So I'm giving it 3.5. It was very good, very heartwarming, and it really sends a good message, and I really like the message. So far, both of these two have done well. I'm not gonna lie. The Very Goofy movie was a very goofy Christmas was very well done. Also the same with Stuck on Christmas. That was well done. Can Mickey Mouse complete the trilogy? Can Mickey Mouse and company finish it off? We'll find out. So until then, it's Jay77 saying take care, be safe. Talk to you later.